In this coffee can is 17 pounds of silver mercury dimes. 17 pounds. This should be a fun hunt. Hey everyone, it's Rob Finds Treasure and welcome back to the channel. Holy cow, we have got potentially a fun hunt today. I say potentially because I don't know the backstory on these dimes, but I'll give you a quick synopsis. I was talking to a guy and he said he knew a guy that had a bunch of mercury dimes that he's been saving up for all the years in a coffee can, and I asked him how much was it. He said he had no idea. So I got in contact with the guy. He wanted a fair price for them, but didn't want to count them at face value. So we came up with a solution. We figured why not weigh the whole can, and it came to 17 pounds and 5 ounces. Not troy ounces. This is normal weight, normal pounds. So we counted out 100 dimes to get $10 worth. We weighed it, and then we divided that 8.7 ounces, regular ounces, and divided it into 17 pounds because we knew the coffee can had some weight, and we came out with about $315 face. We took the $315 face, agreed on a multiple of face value, and I bought it all. He said he doesn't collect varieties. He doesn't even know what's in here. It's just all the silver merc dimes he has stashed up for all the years. So, could be a bunch of duds in there, but either way, I'm going to have fun going through it, and you know I'm going to look for any better dates, especially if we get so lucky to get a 16D, a 21, or a 21D, and any of the varieties as well. That's a long setup. I'm excited to get started. Holy cow. Let's see how this goes. In my excitement, I forgot to mention what I'm going to do. I am not going to dump this out. It will overflow and fall everywhere. We're not dumping it out. I know it'd be fun to see a silver dime waterfall, but we can't do that. It'll be too big of a mess. So I'm just going to sort them out by the 1942s I'm going to set aside. I'll be checking the 1945s as I go through them. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to check the 42s as I go through them as well. If I find a 42/1 overdate for the P or D or the 45S Micro S, I'll let you know. And then, of course, anything that's in the teens, 20s, or 30s, I'm just going to look for condition and or potentially a better date. If I come across nothing at all, I'll have this dumped into a bin with all the merc dimes that I've sorted through, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. I'm tempted to count out the face value at the end to see how close or how far we were off, but I'll decide that as I get through the hunt. Now let me get started on the hunt, and hopefully we find some goodies. Well, I am back with my first update. We've only done that many dimes so far. The oldest merc dime I have seen is a 1930 from Philly, and we even had a Roosevelt dime hiding away in there. Might see a few of those, it looks like. Under the scope, though, I have my first variety found, a 1945S Micro S. I've got a regular one and a Micro S, so you can see the difference. That's the 45S regular dime. That's the Micro S. It's pinched in. It's much smaller. It doesn't have a lot of value in circulated condition. This is a coin that needs to be more like high AU to mint state to have extra value, but I always pull them out as I see them. We just found one, and it's good getting a variety and a slightly older one so far in the first handful that we've searched. Now let's get back to the search. Well, it's been a couple of hours, and I'm probably a fourth of the way done with the coffee can full of merc dimes. I probably could weigh it the next time and tell you exactly where I'm at. But anyway, bringing you back in because we haven't had anything major found, but I'm up to 3 45S Micro S's. I've got a couple of pretty nice merc dimes here. Probably the best one so far of the bunch, although there have been some nice ones. These are the nicest. We have an earliest date now of 1917. Surprisingly, not many in the 20s. I've got a polished and hold merc dime, which I thought was kind of cool. And the rosies are starting to stack up. What is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 Roosevelt dimes. So we're on pace to make a full roll of those out of the jar if it holds true. Getting back to the sort, I'll let you know if I find anything major or if I find a better date, although we haven't found any of that yet. All right, we're back with another update. We are officially exactly halfway through the coffee can. Over 7.5 pounds left in here. These are all the checked coins so far. We do have 19 Roosevelts, so it's slowing down, so I might not make a full roll unless there's more at the bottom of this, but we got 19 of those. We did add a 1918. We've only had 2 teens so far halfway through. And then we got a 1920 San Francisco, slightly better date, but not in great condition. Added another nice, more like mint state Merc dime here, a little bit of luster on it. And still only 3 now of the 45S Micro S's. No 42/1 over dates. And again, not a lot of older coins. Only a handful in the 20s. It's mostly 30s and 40s. And I would say it's probably 70% from 1940 to 1945. So gonna be tough to find some oldies, but maybe we can still find a variety. We're only halfway through. That was a quick update. Let's get back after it, and fingers crossed, there's some more goodies in the rest of this can. An eternity later. Well, we've done it. And I know I didn't bring you guys back in for the last half of the can, mainly because I've already shown you some of the finds, although we have a couple of really nice finds I'm going to get to. But the last thing we're going to do, and it's going to be after this recap, is I'm going to run this whole bin of Mercury dimes through my coin counter and see if it ends up being $315, including what's here. Let me go ahead and share the total finds, or at least the ones I pulled separately from the bin. We ended up having a total of 35 Roosevelt dimes, so just under 1% of the coins in the coffee can were Rosie dimes. Wasn't expecting that. All of them are silver except for this one right here, and I guess we had 36 Roosevelt dimes. A 2007 Denver made its way into the bin, and that is definitely not silver, so that's a bummer. We'll count that as 10 cents. We got that Hold 1942p, not the 2/1. We only got 7 coins prior to 1930. Crazy. It's like it was all World War II type coins because it was mostly 40 to 45. Crazy. Never saw that many 40 to 45s in any purchase, and hardly any in the 30s, and almost none prior to 1930. So no chance at any of the better dates, unfortunately, but still a lot of fun going through it. Down here, we have the Micro S's. We ended up with a total of 5. 5 1945S Micro S's. This is the best of them, and it's probably a high VF. And until you get into the AU or mint state grades on the 45 Micro S, there really is no extra value. We even had a really damaged one as well. So 5 Micro S's, good seeing the varieties, hoping for a nice one. We didn't get one. We did get a total of 8 beautiful, more like BU, high AU type coins. These 6 are all nice in their own respect. As you can see, very nice looking coins, still got luster on them, but the 2 gems are down here. We'll start with the second best one, a beautifully toned 1944 dime. Can't get mad at that. And then my favorite one, and probably the nicest, look at that toning, a 1942, not the 2/1, Philly, absolute gem. So 2 really nice finds in the bunch of other decent ones, and yeah, kind of a tough overall hunt, but I scoped so many of the 42Ps for the overdate. I've done a video on that, as well as the 42 Denvers for the overdate. That's part of that same video. I'll put pictures of those up for you guys to see them. And yeah, wish I would have found one of those, but it's a tough one, or they're both tough ones to find. Beggars can't be choosers. It was still fun scoping them and hoping to find one. We didn't. Now the last step is to count it all up. Let's see if I made some ground on the purchase with extra coins. If there's less than $315, I lost a little bit more money. If there's more than $315, I came out. I'm going to get my counter on the table. I'm going to start running them through it, and then I'll give you guys the grand total here in just a moment. So here's my counter. It's already running. We're gonna dump the dimes in there. I don't have the tubes in here because all I'm gonna do is every time it counts out 50, I'm gonna pull them out, dump them back in the coffee can, and it'll give me a running total of the total dollar amount face value that we have. Not gonna film this part, just wanted to show it to you guys. I know the clicking's annoying. 1 hour later. All right, we have finished with the count. $311.70 was in here. Disregard the extra penny. One of the Merc dimes was kind of flat, so it jammed into the penny slot, counted it as a penny instead of a dime. I put it back through there and it actually counted it correctly the second time. So disregard that, $311.70, but we also have $4.70 over here between the Roosevelt dimes and the other finds that I pulled out that I didn't want to run through the machine. So if I added up all correctly, face value is $316.40, which means it's $1.40 over. Now this machine is not a scientific machine whatsoever. Sometimes if they're super thin coins, two might find their way into the slot and it will only count it as a single dime. And sometimes it got jammed on some of the stickier coins and I had to rerun them. So could be a little bit off to the good or the bad, but bottom line is we're right around the 315. And it just goes to show you, if you grab $1's worth of these coins and weigh it, you can pretty much figure out what you have in a coffee can like that, because we were pretty close. I mean, 316.40 is right next to 315, and it saved us a ton of time counting it over what? $45 it would have been extra if I would have paid it and counted it all out. Not worth the $45 and the amount of time. I know some of you probably wanted me to film the count, maybe a time lapse, but this machine is old. I got to get a new one. It has counted for me for 7 years and it has lots of problems. It needs a cleaning. It needs the gears oiled and probably just need to replace it. But either way, I had a lot of fun going through this. I know we didn't score any dynamite finds, but the chance of possibly finding a dynamite find made it fun. The only downfall was the fact that we didn't have a lot of 20s and teens dimes in there. That made for a tougher hunt because I was hoping for some of the better dates, which we didn't get. To any extent, I still had fun. Hopefully you guys did too. If you did, I certainly would appreciate that thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting and thanks for watching. Oh, you're still here? Well, I appreciate you watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, I decided to pick out a few more that I think you might enjoy, like that one right there or this one down here. Anyways, thanks for watching, happy hunting, and we'll see you in the next video.